And
Two-man games is the company.
And what games are you featuring here?
So we make digital game books, which are kind of like a hybrid of choose your own adventure and role-playing games. So it's an interactive story where you're choosing the path through the story, but you've created a character and you've got stats and you get to roll dice. And because we're on digital devices, we actually have the dice within the phone or the tablet, and so you can shake your device and the dice will bounce around. And you get to fight monsters and do various things. And so we have a whole range of books called Game Book Adventures is our brand, and essentially there's fantasy, sci-fi, we've got supernatural romance, which is our own IP, and then more recently we've just got licenses to make game books on other things. So we've got Judge Dredd, which is a really big one for us, and also a series of books called Fighting Fantasy, which are not so well known in the States, but in UK and Europe, they sold like millions and millions of copies in the 80s. And it's that series is what inspired me to create Game Book Adventures. And so the Ian Livingston and Steve Jackson, who were behind Fighting Fantasy, they contacted me and asked if I would publish their old Fighting Fantasy books from the 1980s. So we're now doing their stuff too. So,
what's the most recent game that you've released, or the most recent book that you released?
So we're about to, this weekend, we've got a book called Trial of the Clone, which is a book written by a guy called Zach Wienersmith, he's behind Saturday Morning Breakfast cereal. And it's going to be our first game book that's actually an audio game book, so it's going to be narrated. And it's actually narrated by Will Wheaton. So it's a bit of a coup for us. It's really, really exciting. So that's coming out on Android, hopefully this weekend. If we can, I've got a guy in Australia currently working very hard to try and get it finished. And it'll come out on iOS hopefully a few weeks after that. So yeah.
If I could, last thing, if I could just say, I guess, the name of your company and give a 10-word summary of what you do.
10 words. 10 words. So, Tin Man Games. Wow, do I have to? I was up late last night. 10-word summary, what we do. We make digital interactive adventure game books. Is that okay? Yeah.
Thank you very much.
No worries.